All right, everybody. This is real world. We just got into some fairly heavy clouds. It's the end of the day, so the panels are not optimal in any way. These panels are adjusted to the best orientation for the summer. These are adjusted for the best orientation for like real close to the solstice is what I'm saying. Both of them same, but just opposite of one another. This one is producing about 13, 12. It just jumped up. Now it's almost 15. It is 15. Okay. This one's producing, getting on 7. It just switched. That's back to voltage now. In a minute I'll click them back over. As far as voltage goes, there's 10 panels on this one, and there's 12 panels on that one. If one panel would have been over, it would have been almost equal on the voltage. These are 16 years old. These are brand new. Bifacial, old poly. They're not even monocrystal. They're poly. Let's do it again. Okay. And power-wise, it's right at a third as well. For the wattage, 700 at 20 amps is what it's given back to the batteries. This is 2000 or 2100 at 60 amps. So it's about 3. It's 2 to 1. You know, this is producing 3. This is producing 1. However you want to do that ratio. But that's, other than that, it's what the difference of bifacial panels in the clouds can do. Otherwise, they were running fairly neck and neck all day. The only time that they ever had a glitch is this one would start to cycle down once the voltage got up to 29, but it only did that when they were both turned on with PV power, and there wasn't a load, a sufficient load. As long as this one's being taxed good enough, then it doesn't do that. But it did do it a few times actually, where I had to scratch my head and try to figure out why it was doing what it was doing. But it only did it, upwards of like 29.2, where it was bouncing above that is what I'm trying to get at. That's what was causing it to do it. This one would just tap out. I'm sure this one would too if it was a voltage percentage point higher or whatever. They're the same. The guts. It's a Victor, not Victron, a Victor inverter, but from China. They're fairly worth their money. I mean, if I was RVing or anything like that, they're that robust. I don't know about the vibration of an RV. What they would take. I have no context to voice an opinion on that. Is what I'm trying to get at. These are bolted to the wall. They don't get knocked around or nothing. The old iron ones back in the day were like this, is what I'm saying. Magnetron, there's a few others. Those are pretty robust. Those can take, I've seen videos where they go places where I wouldn't even want to take no form of electronics, and they're pretty robust. But these other ones over here, I don't know so much. We got the breaker installed from the panels in the last video. Works beautiful. We're going to get some of these other boxes. The breakers are coming. We're going to get some of these other boxes put in for the breakers is what I'm saying, off of the power. There's like a breaker box, but it's a pendant. It's a bigger breaker box with plug-ins and breakers and everything in it. And it's coming for this one. I was going to order 2 or even 4 or whatever, because I just want to see if they're worth their money is all. I just figure I'd order 1, so I didn't have to get disappointed by, It's basically what I do with everything with Amazon. Not that it's a bad place to shop or nothing. I highly recommend it. But I'm just saying it's better than, getting disappointed is all. I don't know how else to put that into words, y'all. There was something else I just got asked. Dang, I hate when my brain gets that way. Well, I'll have to look back in the comment in whatever it was. I'll answer it next time. I love the comments, y'all. Please comment more. Is what I'm trying to get at. I enjoy the interchange or the exchange and stuff like that. There's some things that if there's some things that I'm kind of not tolerant about. I'll forewarn you is what I'm saying. If I've made a video and you can see it with your own eyes, I don't doctor them. I have no way to doctor them. I don't put them in a computer. I don't Photoshop nothing. Okay, and if you say that, oh, you're doing such and such and so, it's like, no, Jackwagon, I promise you, this is a cell phone, and I have no way to doctor any of that stuff. And so I don't like those kind of comments, but other than that, hey, knock yourself out. Especially the right wings or the left wings or whatever, because I'm down the middle, y'all. I vote for the guy that's going to carry the Constitution forward. I'm the one that's trying not to expand the government beyond what it already does. You know what I mean? That's how I believe, and I can't change that. That's why I live where I live and make my own power. And the more self-sufficient I am, the more that I think I've made it in this world. I know a lot of people say, oh, it's how many dollar bills I have in the bank, how this or that, or other people, it's all this crap that I own. Well, that's good and well. If the power that's good and well as long as everything in the status quo remains the same. That you're doing good. I agree. You're doing way better than me is what I'm trying to get at. If the status quo is interrupted, or if the status quo is whatever, that's where I'm at right now. And am I saying, nah, I got something you don't know? I don't mean it like that. I'm just saying, maybe I don't even know how to put that in words. I just feel better personally inside when I have the ability to survive on my own. I could never live in town. I hate being in. I don't even want to be in this house, and I live here. I don't like being inside, and that's the one thing when the VA screwed up and that they paralyzed me. And that was a long time in coming, y'all. It just didn't happen all at once. That's the deal. That's what brought me out here. Everything kind of snowballed or whatever you want to call it. I got the thing that I was going to go paralyzed. That was the next step, the next progression. My legs were getting heavier and heavier. And my ex-wife, we were walking and my legs would collapse and she would turn away, face the other direction and say, "Get up, you're embarrassing me." And it was like, wow, if I could, I would, and you wouldn't. I just thought that was something insane from a woman who never worked outside the home in 23 years. She never drew a paycheck. She never, I'm not saying she didn't contribute. Dude, she could garden like anything, can, quilt. She took care of the kids. She helped me run a trucking business, international trucking business. She was a phenomenal woman. She was extremely greedy. We made a lot of money while we were together. And that was really important to her. It wasn't important so much to me. But I did enjoy it. I can't say that I didn't. I enjoyed driving a Suburban, a brand new one, and shit like that. You get used to stuff like that. But am I like that as a person? No, not really. I'm more of a minimalist. Like the absolute littlest that I can get by on makes me happier. Everything else, every time you get something, there's a tiny bit of worry or anguish or whatever that's associated with it. And the more crap you got, the more that it's just like a closet of crap over the top of your head. I can't take that feeling. That's like being in debt. Maybe that was what the question was about. I'm only going to pay this down. In no Citibank, the Citigroup people are not funding this. They're just giving me the credit is what I'm trying to get at. And what I meant on the comment is they already offered me like twice as much credit out as I have, but I would choke to death under that kind of I couldn't do it is what I'm trying to get at. Just mentally, I just couldn't do it to be underneath that big of a debt. It's better to pay this off and pay it down, and then next year I'll go and get the other two inverters and the other two batteries and jazz like that. I am going to try. These have Wi-Fi interface with them, and I'm going to get a router and a couple little short cords. And there's an app for these. I've not checked none of that out. I only like really looked into it hardcore today when I was looking them over better to see why they were fighting. You know, if there was a way that I could hook them together and make them stop that high where the batteries are almost full kind of fighting. But you know, we'll see. They're doing fine just like they are. I really have not really passed like 4,000 watt. I don't think I own more than 4,000 watt that I can turn on at once. Because I really did have almost everything I owned on at the same time. It was crazy, except for welders. I should have probably did some welding or something like that. But I don't know. I don't weld other than with the generator, and I've gotten so old or whatever that the sound of that machine, I would rather not weld. And I love to weld, but I would rather not weld is to hear that death rattle of the generator. I don't like that rattly sound that they make. If I ever bought another one, and I've considered it, looked around, it would be a propane in like a 4-cylinder water cooled, where they don't make that freaking sound, where they just run silent, and it can be like in a box behind the solar panels out back. Now, I have considered it, but like I said, it would be propane. I already own the tank, and it's a big one. It's like 250 gallons. I would run a generator for a long-ass time. But I don't foresee it. I would probably go with buying wind turbines before I'd go that route. But it's just one of them. It's one of the reasons why I keep the old John Deere tractor around. It needs to start. It's the old kind, like the 80s, but it's the not computer in any way. But it needs the diesel to start, but it can run on propane. And that's why I kept it around all this time. It's just a means to the end. If I have to, I could always build the skid and hook it up with a jack shaft. Or tumble bar, whatever you want to call the connecting rod. Okay, guys, I'm going to let you go. This still says hot. My dinner was done. I just wanted to show you the difference between the two in the same cloud cover in how bad this one, the ones in the front, they're poly and they're old, and how bad it squished them compared to the ones that were new and in the back. And it squished them. I mean, these things make 4,000 plus watts on a normal, just on like any day that it's sunny. And when you saw it like, whatever it was, 2,000 or whatever it was, and this one was like 700, that's how bad, that's what it drops in the clouds, is that it cuts it in half. But it's still a lot more power than I was ever used to. And the lithium makes all the difference in the world, because you could use those truly like a storage bank where you really can't with the lead acid. As long as you take it out of the lead acid at some minuscule amount, it's still burning the batteries up, even doing that. These, don't hold me to it, you got to look online, but I think they had like at high discharge, these don't ever get discharged like that, but at high discharge, like 8,000 cycles or whatever, these were like 15,000 or something like that. These were crazy. I don't really trust all the hype, and I don't believe so much in all the bench testing, because that only tells you what it's saying underneath a meter, which is, I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just saying I'd rather test it under real world condition. And then what it does, like these, you know what I mean? If it's cloudy, you can compare the two. If it's sunny, you can compare the two. And then when it's sunny, they produce relatively close to one another, as long as it's dead on sunny, and not like from an angle in the morning or whatever. Is they produce pretty close. Cloudy, big difference in this. Okay, I'm going to leave it there, y'all, and we're going to be done. I'm going to go eat dinner. I'm hungry. I'll wash my paws first, and then I'll go eat dinner. Okay, talk to you then. Bye.